Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to say thanks very much for the time given to me to introduce myself. Well, my name is Anjelitafitria.n. I'm from BC class and I'm 6th semester. Here I will explain for material about R&D, car, experiment design, and evaluasi program according to my understanding, which have been taught. Okay, well, I will explain to the first material, namely car or classroom action research. Classroom action research, which is carried out by student, teacher or lecturer, is done practically to improve lesson in class. The classroom action research itself, namely 1. Give action to the class. 2. The action taken is better than usual. 3. Research is designed to help teacher. A classroom action research is very important because it makes improvement, assignment, change for the good. The characteristics of classroom action research, namely 1. Situational, directly relate to the concrete problem faced by the teacher or lecturer in the classroom. 2. Contextual, effort to solve models of procedures are inseparable from the context, be it the educational, cultural, social, political, or economic context in which learning takes place. 3. Collaborative, participant between research, teacher, lecturer, or teacher-student, or lecturer-student, or lecturer-teacher is very important. It's carrying out activity. 4. Self-reflective evaluative, actor of actions and objects subject to action to reflect and self-evaluate the result of progress achieved. Modification to change made or based on the result of the reflection and evaluation that have been made. 5. Flexible, provides methodological leeway in carrying out research. For example, there is no need to go through a sampling procedure, a formal data or collection tools. The preparations for classroom action research, namely 1. Develop the subject matter. 2. Manage the class. 3. Organize the subject matter. 4. The extent of the character of the subject. 5. They are variable. And 6. There is a plan of action. I think these are about car. I want to move to the new material. Furthermore, the second material is research and develop research. In develop research, there are steps in research. First, looking for a product, then making a product design. In product design, there are 2 things that must be considered, namely 1. Involve research by observing qualitative, quantitative, or combination. 2. Literature, namely the search of journal of books. As for some of the keywords in R&D research, namely 1. Draft, produce a design. 2. Implementation of the model, without researching but testing a casting product. 3. Model develop, researching by developing existing products and testing them. 4. Model innovation, researching and establishing new product. As from the step in development research, namely 1. Development, create a prototype, the initial product being developed. Products to be made by search, develop new products, modifying existing product, combining more than one product to produce a new product. 2. Field test, the product produced after validation by the validator are tests. 3. Dissemination, socialize the products that have been produced. It can be through seminar, publishing in journals, or introducing them through social media. For produce product, after going through the stage development, the resulting product is suitable for use. Well, I think that's all about material R&D. We move to the new material. As for the next matter regarding about evaluation program. In evaluating the program, at last it is necessary to pay attention to the following, namely, 1. Dispensing model. Evaluation of the gap model to determine the level of conformity with the standard set in the program with the actual performance of the program. 2. The CAPP model, context, input, process and products. CAPP evaluates a model in which evaluation is carried out as a whole as a system. The aim of the CAPP is not to prove but to improve. As for the explanation of the CAPP, namely context, situation or background that affect the planning of the cooking program. Input, quality input that can support the achievement of the cooking program. Process, implementation of the program and use of facilities in accordance with what has been planned. Products, the result achieved in implementing the program. Number 3. Responsive evaluation model. Responsive evaluation model emphasizes a qualitative naturalistic approach. The goal is to understand all the components of the program from different points of view. The steps are carried out through observation, recording the result of interview. Gathering people are important to the evaluation result, and the important thing in a responsive model is the collection and synthesis of data. 4. Formative summative evaluation model. Formative evaluation where program implementation is ongoing. Formative evaluation provides ongoing feedback to assess program development. Meanwhile, summative evaluation is located at the end of program implementation. And implementation to assess the benefit of a program, so that the result of the evaluation will determine that a certain program will be continued or stopped. Number 5. Measurement model. Measurement model in education. This model is able to reveal individual and group different in terms of willingness, interest, and attitudes. The results of the evaluation are used for the selective needs of students, educational goals, and planning. The object in the evaluation of this model is the behavior of students, including learning outcomes, traits, attitude, interests, talents, and also personally expect of students. Number 6. Goal-free evaluation approach. Objective-free evaluation model means the evaluator or assessor take from various reports or records of real or concrete effect and undeniable effect in education and training program. The advantage is that in objective-free evaluation, the evaluator are aware of the anticipated important influence on the basic objective of the defined achievement. Number 7. Kirkpatrick. 1. Reaction evaluation. Measure how the training tracks to the training. Number 2. Learning evaluation. Measure what has been learning by students. Number 3. Behavior evaluation. Measure how the student behave in a training program. Number 4. Result evaluation. Measure the extent to which the result obtained by student. Well, I think about material about evaluation program. To the last material about experimental design. Experimental design is a form of experimental research that proves something where after the teaching it is supported so that it cannot manipulate respondent. Some that must be understood in experimental design, namely one independent variable and two dependent variables. The type of experimental research design are one classical experimental design, one experimental group, and one comparison group. Number 2, the pre-experimental design, dependent variable influenced by independent variable. And the last, number 3, quasi-experimental and spatial design, looking at the causal relationship of various exciting situations. I think that's all material from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.